Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel and pack 8 of my 1/8 scale Lotus Esprit from The Spy Who Loved Me, courtesy of my friends at Agora Models. I am super excited to get into this pack 8, which has got, from the obvious size of the box, a very large key component to this build, and I'm super excited to share it with you guys. But if you missed any of the previous episodes, check the link in the description to the playlist and you can get caught up on all the other episodes. And again, if you want to get one of these for yourself, scan the QR code on the screen or check out the link in the description to Agora's website and pick one up. Alright, like I said, I'm super excited to dive into pack 8 here, so I'm going to grab some tools and we're going to get to the build. Alright, now before we get into that next stage, I just wanted to go over something real quick I did kind of off camera. So I was looking at this and thinking, wow, this really looks cool, except it's missing a little something, and I don't know if you can spot it just yet, but I went ahead and did a little extra detailing on this. The first thing I did was I removed the reservoir for the braking system, and I used some clear orange Tamiya paint on the inside, just around the edges, to give it that look like it's got brake fluid in it. It's not just a clear reservoir. Also, I painted the cap on top a semi-gloss black. I think that adds kind of a lot of realism to it. Then on the other side, for the wiper fluid reservoir, I took some clear Tamiya blue, and I did that on the inside just to give it that look of it's actually got, washer fluid in there. And then I put it back on, and I just think that just adds a whole nother level of authenticity to the kit, and it really looks nice. Yes, I know most of the time it's not going to be seen, but I just really like adding details to kits and just giving them that little bit of realistic look to them, and I like how this turned out. All right, so back to the next stage. Okay, for stage 58, we're going to start assembling the front panel. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this part here and these parts here. We're going to start off with this one, and you want to make sure that you can see the spring in there. We're going to take this over here, and we're just going to push these in. Push these in here, just like that. Now we'll do the other side. Okay, just like that. Next, we're going to take this piece here and this piece we were just working on, and this is just going to go right there like that. And we're going to lock that in place on the other side with a couple of PSO5 screws. And with that, that is the end of stage 58. Okay, for stage 59, we're going to start assembling the torpedo tubes. Okay, so we're going to start off with these two parts, and again, same kind of spring activated clip here and this part. And we're going to install this the same way as we did in the other one. Okay, just like that. All right, then we're going to bring this piece back over, and we're going to have it this way. And we're going to take this piece we just created, and this is going to fit right over that. And we'll attach it on the back side with a PSO5 screw. All right, looking good. Okay, next we're going to take this piece and these torpedo compressors, and these are going to fit right in here. There's a couple of pins, and we're going to hold those on in the back with a couple of PS14 screws. Just like that. And then we're going to take the torpedo tubes, and they're just going to go right in front of those. And we're going to attach those on the back with the same PS14 screws. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to bring this part back over and situate it this way. Then we're going to take these. They're going to go right over these two posts there. And we're going to screw those in with a couple of PSO5 screws. Get those nice and secure. And with that, that is the end of stage 59. Alrighty, for stage 60, we're going to be attaching the hood and assembling the right headlight. Well, the hood, the bonnet. So we're going to get started on that now. So the first thing we're going to need is to bring over our hood. We're going to situate it just like that. Then we're going to use these two hinges, and these are going to be situated right here. And those will be held in with a couple of DS23 screws. All right, just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. All right, just like that. Okay, next we're going to bring this back over. And we're going to be attaching the hood to the front of the car. So basically, this is going to go just like that. Then we're going to turn it over. And then these hinges are going to go up on this. Actually, let's see if I can do it better this way. So there's a pin here. We want that hinge to go on. And then we're going to hold those on with some DS23 screws. Just going to get these started. Okay, now since this hood has to align properly, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it aligned. Then I'm going to take some tape. I'm just going to tape it in place so that when I tighten up those screws, everything should stay pretty much lined up. There we go. Now let's tighten these screws up. Okay, now we can take our tape off. And if we did everything right, all right, the hood opens and closes. Great. Okay, for the next part of this, we're going to open our hood and we're going to get our little hood support here. We're going to be using a DS29 screw. So let's get that started in here. And then we'll bring our support up. It's going to be hard to show on camera. All right, I got it started. All right. Well, and that works. Look at that. Pretty cool. Okay, so I found out something. So after I attached this and closed the hood, my panel alignments were way off. It was skewed one way. So what I did was I loosened these up just a little bit, got the hood relined up, taped it, and then retightened these hinge screws, and now the panel lines are much better. So just a little tip there. If yours are a little out of whack, just make some adjustments. Okay, so we'll set that part aside, and we're going to put these LEDs, which are the headlights, through this right side headlight housing. Now, one thing I noticed that these are cool white bulbs, so they burn very white, almost blue, and it's not really error correct. So I'm going to do a little something to these to make them appear more of a warm light, which will look more realistic on the car. So one way you could achieve this would be to remove these LEDs and just put in warm LEDs. However, I don't really want to do that, but another way to get around that is I'm just going to take a little tiny bit of yellow transparent paint, and I'm just going to paint the tops of the bulbs with a little bit of that transparent yellow. You could use orange, but I think the yellow actually looks better. And you don't want to get too much on there because these are going to have to press into this part. You don't want to obstruct that. So just put a little bit of the yellow on the tips, and that should give us a nice warm glow. Okay, so for this step, we want to take the headlight bucket and we want it situated just like this. And we're just going to put these LEDs through here. like that. And you want to make sure the one with 2 wires on it that tees off to the second one is on that left-hand side. Then we're going to take this part and we're going to put the LEDs through this. All right. And that's actually all we do here. We don't do anything else. And that is actually the end of stage 60. Okay, now we're going to move on to stage 61, where we're going to attach the right headlight. Okay, we're going to start off by taking this part and this part, and this is just going to go on the back here. Make sure you get this in properly. It only goes in one way, and it just sits in there, just like that. Okay, now we're going to bring over the headlight assembly we worked on before, and we're just going to hold these in place, and we're going to take this, and this is just going to go this way over the lens, over the unit here. Press in like so. And then we'll hold that together with 4 PS12 screws. Now these are some really tiny screws. It's not quite in there all the way. There we go. All right, that's looking pretty good. Okay, next we're going to take this spring-loaded hinge and turning our headlight over this way. This hinge is going to sit on these posts, and we're going to attach that with some PSO1 screws. Hold that in there like that. Okay, cool. Okay, next we're going to take this part here and our headlight again. And this is going to go on just like this. And we're going to hold that in with a couple of PSO5 screws. All right, looking good. Okay, next we're going to bring over the front here. We're going to flip it over. Then we're going to take our headlight, and this hinge bracket right here is going to connect right on this point, and we're going to attach that with some DS23 screws. Okay, just like that. And now our headlight is spring-loaded. Awesome. Okay, and with that, stage 61 is complete. Okay, for stage 62, we're going to assemble the left headlight, which is just a repeat of what we did previously. So I'm going to go ahead and get that put together. Once again, make sure you get this going in the right way. All right, like that. And then I am going to put a little transparent yellow paint on top of those LEDs to give it that warm glow instead of the stark white look of the LEDs. So now I'm just going to let that paint dry, but that is the end of stage 62. Okay, for stage 63, we're going to be doing the same exact thing we did previously. We're going to be attaching the left headlight this time. Okay, so once again, we're taking these two parts. We're going to make sure we get this right side around. Put that in there just like that. Then we're going to bring our headlights over. We're going to get these situated in here. Just want to make sure you have to bend your wires around in here to make sure that they kind of fit. Then we're going to take the lenses that we just put together. They're just going to go over this. And they'll snap in place there. Then we're going to hold that together with some PS12 screws. Okay, just like that. Okay, now we're going to take our spring-loaded hinge. We're going to load it up on those same two posts there, like that. And we're going to hold it in with some PSO1 screws. Okay, like that. Then we're going to take this piece, and just like we did before, we're going to attach it to the bottom here just like that. And we're going to use some PSO5 screws to hold this in. Just like that. Okay, and then we're going to bring over this piece again, turn it back over. And we're going to install this headlight right here with a couple of DS23 screws. Okay, just like that. And now we've got a set of pop-up headlights. That was really cool looking. And with that, that concludes stage 63. Okay, for stage 64, we're going to be assembling the torpedo launcher, and this looks like it'll be a pretty easy short stage. Okay, first we're going to take this piece right here, and we're going to have it this way around. And we're going to start off with our blue torpedo. Just going to snap it on there, and then our other blue torpedo. Then our green torpedo, and our last green torpedo. Just like that. Okay, next we're going to bring this piece over, and we're going to situate it just like this. We're going to take our torpedoes and our harpoons, just like this, and we're going to set it in here. Goes into a couple holes, and we're going to hold this in with a couple of PSO9 screws. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to take our torpedo part we just created, and this part here, we're going to situate it this way, and this is going to go on these three lugs right there. It's going to sit just like that, and then we're going to hold that in with some PSO9 screws. Okay, just like that. Okay, next we're going to take another spring-loaded hinge, and you want to make sure you've got this part facing this way. And then this part of the hinge is going to go over these two tabs here, like that. We're going to hold that in with some PSO1 screws. All right. And with that, that's the end of stage 64. Okay, for stage 65, there's not a lot of parts, but we're going to get a lot done in this one because we're actually going to be attaching the torpedo launcher and then the front bumper. Okay, for this step, we're going to take this part and this part, and we're going to have to kind of hold this spring back a little bit. And this is going to go on just like this over these two lugs. And we're going to hold that in with some DS23 screws. Okay, just like that. And actually, I was wrong. These are PSO1 screws, not DS23 screws. Okay, now we're going to take this part in our main body, and we want to put this in here, but we want this spring-loaded hinge to mount right here. So we'll need to press that on there like that, and then we'll attach this with two DS23 screws. Just like that. And now we have our torpedo launcher door. Awesome. Okay, next we're going to bring over our front bumper, which we worked on a long time ago, it seems like. And we're going to take these two LED lights, number 03 and 04. We're going to turn this around this way, and we're going to take LED labeled 03, and this is going to go into this slot right here for the front light. So we'll just put that in there, just like that. And then we're going to take the one labeled 04 and do the same on the other side. Okay, next we want to take our LEDs, and we want to make sure that the LEDs are in up and down because we want to just bend this so that these wires can kind of go along this edge here. And we're going to want to do that on both sides, just like that. Okay, next they've supplied us with some like little pieces of tape. So we're just going to peel off one of these. Then we're going to press these tight against this part here, and we're just going to take the tape, just like that. We'll do the same on the other side. Okay, just like that. Okay, next we're going to bring this back over, and we're going to turn this upside down here. We're going to take our bumper assembly. Let's make sure we get these tucked in here. All right, and this is just going to go on here like so. We're going to hold this in place with 3 DS01 screws. Now we're going to start off by putting the first one right through the middle of the bumper here. We're just going to get that one started. And the other 2 screws are going to go here and here. All right, just like that. Okay, next we're going to take these retaining clips and we're going to take those off the sprue. Now, we want to take our wires and they're going to go right between these 2 little posts here. And then we'll use this retaining clip to hold them in place. Like that. Now we'll do the same on the other side. Just like that. Okay, next we're going to bring over this part that we worked on in a previous stage. And this is just going to go right here and it's going to fit over these 3 lugs. Just like that. And then that's going to get held in with 3 DS02 screws. Do this middle one first. Then we'll tighten those up. All right, just like that. All right, so they hold down like that. And then to open them, you just push down and it spring releases them. Just like that. Now, they do want you to make sure that these wires under here are bent in so they don't come in contact, come in contact with the headlight when it moves up and down. And ours are both nice and clear. All right, next we're going to take our license plate or number plate, whatever they call it, and we are just going to attach this right here. So we'll just put one in that side. Just like that. And with that, that is the end of stage 65. And this is just really cool. So I'm geeking out a little bit on this, but this is a really fun stage. So let's move on. Okay, friends, for stage 66, this is the big part. Look at the size of this body. So I've got my camera zoomed out here. We've got some small parts, so let's get right into this. Okay, so we're starting off with this very small part. I believe this is the window squirter for the window washing fluid, and it's just going to get press fit into this hole here. Okay, just like that. Okay, next we're going to take these 2 pieces, and they are marked right and left. They've got an L on one and an R on the other. We're going to start off with the right one. And for this one, it's going to go right in here. So it just sits in just like that, and we're going to hold that in on the other side with a PS17 screw. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, and that's in there. All right, this is the part I've been waiting for. We're going to actually attach this and the front end to the body. So we'll get our hood open. And we'll place this underneath like this, and then tilt it up. And we're going to attach this with some DS01 screws here, here, and here and here. So let's get going with that. Just going to get this one started first, kind of hold everything together. The other ones are going in these holes here. Make sure I put a little oil on that. All right, now, before I do anything else, I'm going to tape my hood back closed so I don't damage it. There we go. Now we'll flip this over and we'll tighten those up. All right, and that is the entire body. Look how big that is. Is that just so cool or what? Yeah, so don't mind me. I'm geeking out just a little bit. I mean, I've been a fan of this car my whole life, and to see it actually coming together on the workbench, it's really something. So yeah, so that's the end of that's the end of that stage, but it's also the end of pack 8. And just really a cool build so far. I'm glad you're all joining along in this build with me. Again, if you missed any of the previous builds, there is a link down to the playlist in the description of the video. Also, if you want to get one of these for yourself, just scan that QR code on the screen or check the link in the description to go to Agora's website and get you one on order. So until the next episode, which will be episode number 9, everyone just be safe out there and go build something.